consumption is not what we as humans are wired for. Continuous consumption is not good for us because we're not made as consumers, we are made as creators. So we can create as much as we want and we will never get tired of it, get drained by it, or be exhausted by just, consuming. And I'm not even speaking about consuming only on your phone or on your TV. I'm talking about consuming things all around us, noise, messages, negativity, consuming all of that. We are not wired to consume, we are wired to create. Creating is the opposite of consumption. And I think, as I've realized that success to me is when you are closest to your creator as possible. Success to me is not the accumulation of material wealth or accomplishments or even impact. Success is the distance between you and your creator being very small. There should be no distance. The connection should be fully active. And your sense of self and your identity is fully reliant and dependent on that relationship and that connection. That is how I have come to define success. And many people define success differently. Even me, I've defined success differently just a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It used to be living well within my means, in my own house, working a job where I don't have to clock in but earning good money. That might be success in the world, but for me, success is the knowing that you are nothing without God. Once you've reached that knowing, I feel like you have reached a different level to what the masses or the majority of the world believes in. Once your eyes have opened up to another type of life, an alternative life than the one that we are told to live, that to me is the ultimate breakthrough in life. And our participation in the daily things, the daily rhythms of lives, is not as important as our connection to God and just living in close proximity to Him and having the Holy Spirit inside you, leading you, guiding you, and being able to hear His audible voice. Because when God speaks to you, He often speaks through you. So sometimes when you just speak about God, you will say words that you never thought about, and those are mostly the words that God has put in your mouth. So for me, as humans, we are wired to create and not to consume. And I feel like the enemy has us right where he wants us, out of our element, out of what we're supposed to be. And that's why, I have deleted my apps on my phone that turns me into a consumer. And I have mostly shut down all type of noise. I don't want to be in conversations where I am consuming things that's not going to be for the greater good. If I cannot be in a conversation where I'm going to be impacting someone in a positive way towards God, then I don't feel like that's a conversation worth having. And I believe that relationships are good. I mean, I have very good relationships with the people in my life. Very good. Because I nurture the relationships. But I just feel like, with outside people, with people you work with, people who are strangers to you, it's so important to know exactly what you allow into your psyche in terms of beliefs, in terms of ways of seeing the world. Because for me, I'm very one-track minded when it comes to my life. At this age, I'm very one-track minded. I only think in terms of, will God be pleased by this? Is this just in God's eyes? Okay. Am I impressing God right now by doing this? Because God will always, and the Holy Spirit will always just want me to be 100% myself and no one else. So pretending, performing, proving is not really part of the walk with God. Pretending, performing, and proving is an absolute no-go. It doesn't matter if I find myself in the shop, in the mall, on the play, at the play park with my daughter, wherever. Whenever there's an engagement, it should be void of pretense, performance, and the need to prove. So yeah, as humans, we are wired to create. We create moments, we create relationships, we create ideas, we create things that will make the world better, make your life better, make relationships better. And so I just love creativity. I love creativity, and I love making something out of nothing. I feel like as people, we are wired to make something out of nothing. And something good can be made out of nothing if you just sit and think about it. And also, we also made to be still. We're not made for noise and stormy waters. You know, when you're a child of God, you are like a sheep. You are being led by the shepherd who leads you to still waters, Psalm 23. You know, so we're made for peace. We are absolutely made for peace. I mean, why would he say he leaves his peace with us as well as the Holy Spirit? Because we're made for peace. So create your peaceful moments within your house. Make time to sit still, to be still, so that you can hear the Holy Spirit and so that you can empty your mind. You know how healthy an empty mind is? But the world always wants you to fill up your brain with 1,000 things. For me, stillness is very important. And people might say I'm an introvert. And a lot of people tie introverts to people who don't have the confidence to speak up, people who are soft-spoken people. It's got nothing to do with that. Some people just want to have stillness in their life because that is their center point where they get their energy from. So yeah. Be in your element of creation. Be a creator. Create something out of nothing. And even though everyone has beautiful things that they create, we are not made to create everyone's stories to consume everyone's stories and to consume everyone's lifestyles and to consume and to be, because in that consumption is where we often forget who we are. But you need to center yourself every morning to remember who you are. People must look at you and not know where your confidence comes from because it doesn't even make sense. Because you're supposed to be a shining light. You're supposed to bring light into people's lives. And when you are in your creator era, everywhere you go, you just add light, you know, and you have a lightness about you, not a heaviness about you. And so sit in your stillness and think about what you can create. Yeah. I feel like this is something I've believed in since I was 19 years old. I've always believed in this. I can remember this exact conversation I'm having now. This exact conversation. I'm 38 years old, soon to be 39. I had this exact conversation in my apartment in Cape Town 10 years ago. 10 years ago. This exact thing about creating and consuming. Can you believe it? Anyhow, stop consuming. Create more than you consume. Talk to you again. Love you.